All right, it's 9 o'clock. We might as well get started. I think maybe Carl will be here shortly, and Nanette perhaps as well. And I'm absent one commissioner who is at training. First things first. If you will join me, let's stand and have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this new day, first meeting of the year. We ask your blessing upon this court, this county, our residents for this upcoming 2019. Thank you for the items you have provided for discussion today, and we pray for your wisdom to direct us on how to handle each of those matters. Thank you for those that have come today to make presentations. Be with Commissioner Fitch while he is away and bring him back home safely. Please continue to be with our servicemen and women, our first responders, and just protect them in whatever situation. We turn this meeting over to you in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. Our first meeting of the year, January the 14th, 2019. We will begin with public comments. I have one request here from Ms. Chisholm. Ms. Chisholm, if you'd like to come on up to the podium, we'll be glad to give you some time here.
Thank you. I am Janice Chisholm, Precinct 1 resident and taxpayer. I wanted to express my thanks to Commissioner Riddle there, okay, in Precinct 1. On January the 8th, he actually let 4 of his precinct employees show up on County Road 1540, and they cleaned out a ditch. First time in 7 years, but it got cleaned out. I want you to know that their names are Deloge, I don't know their first names, Deloge, Mendez, Posey, and Marquis. Okay, they cleaned out the ditch. I mean, it was great. Now we won't have to worry about the people, because I've had 3 other people in the neighborhood come up and say something about it was great to see the guys out there. And I'm like, what? And they says, well, for the safety issue is they will not have to worry about getting flooded out before they get to Farm to Market Road 2152 now, okay? And I want to thank you guys for letting this happen, okay? Democracy really works when it's used right. Thank you.
We aim to please. Thank you very much. All right. Anyone else have a comment at this time? All right, let's move on to item number 2 and consider possibly approved minutes from our final meeting of the year 2018. That was our December 21 meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made to approve that set of minutes by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Joyce, for handling those. Item number 3, discuss and take action on our North Courthouse steps repair project. You'll recall we've been discussing this for a while, and you can see for yourselves the problems that we've got on that set of steps, and we're going about this carefully in the right way, and we've got experts here with us today that are helping us with this project. May I welcome to the podium Glen Calvert from Prefert Complex Designs, who is directing us and giving us engineering opinions on this, and I think has got a solution for us and maybe a game plan.
Okay, on or about November the 21st, I issued a report. You guys had a chance to look at this? Mr.
Yep.
Riddle, have you seen this? Okay, all right. So we did some investigation, which consisted of surface demolition, bush hammering, basically to see the depth and extent of what appears to be frost damage on that side of the building. That side of the building, because it's in the shade, never thaws out in some of these cold days we've got. And over the course of years, It's probably had some salt treatment, and that gets into the concrete and causes that concrete to expand when the moisture turns to ice. It expands in its volume and causes it to pop out. And then as that has popped out, it's caused a rough surface, and that same moisture and salt and everything has penetrated the entire deck and deteriorated the reinforcing throughout. So we did some demolition to find out the extents of it, and it was clear to us that that top landing is beyond repair. The perimeter and the main structure of that landing appears to be in pretty good shape, as far as the heavy beams on the side, and even there's a wall on the north side of that landing that appears to be in good shape. We did the same type analysis and had the same observations on the actual steps that came up to that landing. And a few things that we found is that thing has been repaired at least 2 or 3 times over the course of the years. And the solution that we came up with is a selective demolition and replacement of the landing and the steps. And what that allows us to do is keep the 2 side beams, the walls on the side of the stairs, and keep that wall that's below the landing on the north side of the landing. You can see it if you go underneath the little walkway.
And that wall runs north and south, right?
The wall that I'm talking about, well, there is a wall that runs north and south, but there's also a wall that it tees into.
It's underneath the landing. You've got a wall that runs down
That's
the
right.
middle, runs north and south. It
Yes.
provides the main support for that.
Yeah.
So you'll keep that and the 2 sides where the handrails are.
And also keep the wall that runs east and west that the north-south wall tees into.
Okay.
So we would keep those main walls and we would build to them. So that means demolishing the landing and the steps, and then tying in new concrete onto or into those existing structures. There would need to be some design work involved with it, and probably as the project proceeds during construction, some periodic observation to be sure that what they're uncovering when they do the demolition is what we expected. We also thought about, okay, if we fix this, what can we do to prevent it from happening again? And in today's industry, there are some products that are out there that are really good concrete products that prevent deterioration. A manufacturer of those products that's used across the world, basically, a company called Sika. And we reached out to them. We met one of their representatives out here, and we came up with some materials that prevent moisture from being able to be absorbed. It's basically a barrier. But at the same time, it's also really durable and textured traffic material. So it does several things. One, it prevents moisture from being absorbed into the concrete and preserves the concrete, but it also forms a very slip-resistant barrier or surface for people to walk on. There are several different types of this product, and the product we came up with, I'll let you take a look at it. On the back side, you can see the actual vapor barrier that prevents the water. On the top side, you can see is a textured finish that obviously is a good walking surface. So our recommendation would be to come up with a structural solution that replaces the concrete, reinforces it, ties it into the existing structure, and then apply this material on top of it. And that would need to be done and described fully with construction documents. These construction documents aren't that extensive. I can see maybe 2 or 3 sheets of drawings that not only describe the demolition but also the replacement, but also talks about this material here. This company has representatives across the world. As I said, we've already met with him here. He would be here to oversee that installation.
Is that painted on or rolled out?
It is more troweled on. It's kind of poured, and it's kind of a self-leveling, and it basically fills all of the pores. The other thing that we thought about is, after looking and doing this on the south side or on the north side of the building, the east, the west, and the south aren't nearly as bad. And the reason why is because they get the sun in the wintertime as opposed to staying in the shade. But in our opinion, for the cost of this material, it probably would not be a bad idea to do that on the east, the west, and the south portals as well, just to prevent deterioration like you've seen on the north. You've already seen some, but it's not in nearly as bad a shape. And also, it will give a more uniform look around the building, and I think overall increase the foot traffic or the traveling surface, even in wet weather, you know, to prevent potential slips and falls and things like that you might be concerned with.
So while we've got these expensive specialists here to put down that specialty product,
That's right. Yeah.
spread that cost and go ahead and
Correct.
spend some money for extra material to protect those steps, and hopefully not have to deal with this same thing
That's right.
down the road.
And they would all be uniform. It'd be a surface that you would immediately get benefit from, prevent potential deterioration. And if they do it here, then that would save a mobilization cost for them to come and do it. That's not to say that a local contractor couldn't take that same material and learn how to do it himself. I think this manufacturer's rep would be more than happy to help a local contractor learn how to put that down, because they could always use more certified installers across the country instead of having to rely on someone from, say, a metropolitan area. But he was good to work with. He was glad to come to Mount Pleasant, and I do know that Sika makes good products. I've used them in the past on parking garages and things like that.
That front landing you were describing to me would almost be cut out.
That's correct.
Rather than, jackhammered out.
It would need to be cut out. There would be some bush hammering done, like over the steps and over those walls and everything, to get to a surface that we could connect to. We would use those existing walls in order to help support the new landing. So the parts and pieces that we need to help support what we would do are there, and we see them as being sound material. But that's one of the things that we would want to at least have a chance to look at when they do the demolition, to be sure that we know what they're tying into. But all indications are those existing walls are good material. The one thing that the judge and I have talked about is the importance to go ahead and get a plumber to look at those drains and those hallways down low. There's two here underneath, on each side of that north-south wall. There's a door over here that has a drain in the bottom. I have no idea where that water goes when it rains, but it doesn't appear that drain works, and that could potentially be done with a jet and a camera. That can be done at any time and even separate from this project. But
And that helps us from accumulation of water down in those basement
Correct.
areas.
I think at some point in time, maybe whenever this thing was built, who knows when, I think there were actually possibly some canopies over those stairs that kind of protected those stairwells from the water, but obviously those canopies are no longer there.
So we need will you prepare those construction drawings for us?
Correct.
And what type of a specialty contractor would we use to do that cutout? Are you talking about one contractor to remove and replace?
Best case scenario would be one contractor that's over all of it. That could be just any concrete contractor. I'm not sure about the value of the project and whether or not that would have to go out to bid, or whether or not the contractor that was awarded the bid needed to be supported by a payment performance bond. That would strictly be related to the value of the project. But it could be done by a local contractor, and it would be good if that contractor was in charge of the protection of the building. The glass doors, everything would need to be protected. He would also have a subcontract potentially with a concrete sawing company to saw that out, and then, of course, he'd be responsible for replacing the concrete. And then, as far as the materials are concerned, to place over the concrete, he could either do that himself with the supervision of this manufacturer's rep, or he could say, you know what, I don't want to mess with it, and hire someone from potentially the Metroplex to come do this. That would be a certified installer for seeker. But I like it always being under one contract. But that'd be your call on how that would be handled.
Once you have drawings prepared, we're not very knowledgeable in selecting the right contractor. How would you suggest we proceed with that?
Well, we could produce a set of bid documents, and in those bid documents, we could, as far as the payment performance bond is concerned, we could have a line item for them to bond the project. If the county decided to bond it, if there was even a choice, if the project is a certain size, I don't know if the county has a choice. I don't think it's going to be a huge dollar amount, but
I think we would want to, based on our experience in the past.
Okay.
I think that'd be good insurance. It's a pretty specialized job here.
So we could produce a set of bid documents and take proposals, and we could have a public opening if you wanted to do that. One thing that you may want to consider is potentially having the application of these materials. You could either put it in the bid package. In fact, I'd probably leave it in the bid package, or leave it as a deductive option as well, so that the county could potentially hire this application company to come do that under a separate contract. So there are some ways to kind of break it up. Again, I always like having it under one level, or one person responsible for the entire project.
Would your preparation of bid documents include any kind of estimates on costs like this that we're?
Yeah, we could probably put something together, give you a range. The supplier could tell us how much these materials cost based on the documents we put together. And then we could look at cost for demolition and cost for replacement. I'm sure we could come up with a ballpark number for that.
I mean, we could wait and let the bidder come up with those prices.
Oh yeah, bidders will come up with them as well, for sure.
Okay. So today it sounds like taking this one step at a time. If we want to do this, we need to authorize you to prepare our construction and bid documents, and then go to the next step, and that would be to solicit bids.
Correct.
Okay. Questions?
Glenn, what, on this product here, do you have any idea what the time frame is of drying and that kind of
What
stuff?
did you say, Wade? It was a day or something that you had to stay off, so we'd probably maybe do 2 of them one day and close those entrances. And actually, I think it was maybe a Monday and leave them off on the weekend, right?
Right, that's what he recommended.
So we might do one of them on a Friday, and you're closed on the weekend anyway, so do it on a Friday and then come back on the Monday and open up the 2 that you just got through finished and close the other 2.
Is it necessary that we couldn't do without that entrance for a period of time?
We'll have to do without the north entrance, just because of all the in-depth construction. What he's talking about is if you decide to move forward with putting the coating on the east, west, and south, we wouldn't want to close. We'll finish that, maybe that front, and then when we're ready to put down the coating, maybe coat the north and south at that time, let it dry over the weekend, coat the east and the west. What do you think about going ahead and having this, and this coating I'm sure is going to be fairly pricey, but paying for it now in the way of a protective barrier on those other steps seems to me to make a lot of sense. do we want to instruct him to include that in the bid docs, the coating of the other 3 stairs?
I think it'd be a good preventative thing.
Well, it's, in my opinion, it's also a much safer walking surface.
Yeah. And two, it will probably, I mean, if we have to bring somebody back, I mean, that's going to be a double cost for already here working, then to me, it'd be a, more cost-effective way of doing it, to go ahead and do it while we're doing it.
All right. Well, I would suggest then a motion that authorizes Mr. Calvert to prepare for us construction and bid documents to include his proposed repair method and surface coating of the other 3 stairs.
Make that motion.
Okay, that motion is made by Commissioner Applewhite
Second.
and second by Commissioner Parker. Is there any further discussion?
Do you have an idea of what y'all's fee will be to do this?
I thought I had it in here someplace, but yes, I did.
Guidance there.
Thought I had it in this report. In fact, I saw it this morning. Oh, 6,500 is what we're looking at, flat fee.
And that covers from, tell us what all that includes.
That would cover from this day going forward through the selection of the contractor. If there is additional site observations made, which is what I would recommend, then we would just do that on an hourly basis as needed.
Okay. In other words, that's not him managing the job, that's not him overseeing the job start to finish, that gets us to the bid point. Okay. All right. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor of proceeding as the motion indicates, say aye. Aye. All right. We've got a plan. Thank you very much.
Did I pick up that other sample up there?
Glen, Wade, we thank you for coming, and we'll anxiously await your return. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Item number 4, consider and possibly approve a renovation for office filing and storage solutions over there in JP1's office. Pam Harden is here today. We have our JPs away today, or actually this week, for training. So Pam, welcome. Thank you. And tell us what you need to do.
Well, first I'd like to read a letter from Judge Agan.
Okay?
The Judge Lee, Commissioners, my apologies for not being able to attend today's meeting due to out-of-town training. In place, I have asked my Chief Clerk, Pam Harden, to present the following in my absence. The reason for our request today is Precinct 1 lack of filing and storage capabilities in the clerk's office area. As required, we retain several types of printed documents, even though most are scanned into the file, into the computer. The office storage and filing space has stayed the same since first constructed when Judge Leo Scotland was in office. The office interior was constructed to accommodate more workbench space than filing. Our closet storage for office supplies is being used at the time for document storage. For filing, we have only 2.5 filing cabinets in the clerk's office. I do have pictures to show you what we have. What we would like for the court to consider and possibly take action on is allow the removal of abundant bench space of both sides of the clerk's office and installing the same combination filing shelving as Precinct 2 clerk's office. And that's what I have pictures of as well. And I wrote on that, JP1 and JP2.
How have we survived over there thus far? In other words, why did Judge McNutt not ever ask for this?
I don't know. I know when we go to look for things, we're pulling out drawers, and the pictures you'll see of the work surface and the drawers, some don't even open, and where they halfway open. but they're just boxes stuff, stacked on top of boxes and files. Starting about 6 months into last year, we started going through old files back when Stockholm was in, making sure they were scanned into the system and then shredding. And we haven't even put a dent in it. I have cleaned out the back. Our storage closet literally is just a closet. It's not very big. Some shelving on both sides and in the back, but it's full. I've been working for JP1 for a year and a half. Approving the renovations will be extremely helpful in taking care of our customers and more efficiently and professionally, and are much needed for filing of documents that we're to retain for a minimum amount of years. Approving the renovations will make our office look more professional and also appealing to the community.
So what is your solution?
Well, the shelving and filing cabinets that JP2 has was done many years ago. In fact, the contractor passed away several years ago. So I thought I'd like to get with James and see who they normally use to see what it would, get an estimate of what it would cost to get something similar. Funding, I'm not sure where that would come from. I don't know, per the precincts, how much we have. If there's other funding out there we could get into or that would be offered to help make our workspace more up to date, manageable.
And just buying filing cabinets is not going to solve it?
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, you want something that, to me, that's going to last for several years. The JP2s, theirs is, they've listed, I think, 20 years so far, something like that. May need some surface work, but just something that will, I think, would be more cost effective and it's going to last for years on out instead of just metal filing cabinets. And the 2.5 we do have, they are full, and then some of the drawers aren't full.
Is part of this in
JP, that's JP2. I wrote on the back civil, what hers looks like, and then our civil, and then on criminal, I did the same thing.
both of these are out in the main work area. It's not in the judge's office?
No, that's in the clerk's.
On two different walls?
Yes. The one is the criminal and the other is behind the civil. Which would give us space for, our training books and all the notebooks that we have to keep with accounting or our monthly report.
Y'all discussed any idea of a budget?
We haven't, I didn't even know where to start with that. Judge Agambi and any recommendations?
This is it too. This is it.
You're thinking a duplication of what you got there?
That's what I was hoping for. I think it would look a lot more professional and appealing to whoever comes into the office.
This in Paula's old
Right
house.
now, we look like we're back in the 70s.
Well, that's a pretty expensive setup, I'm going to guess.
I think so. And it doesn't have to be extravagant, but just some shelving and space. We do we'll want to create under one of those, the shelving is a smaller workspace for another clerk that comes in as needed.
I would bet that'd be $15,000, $20,000 worth.
Are you talking about custom built shelves, or is it possible we could find some standalone units, both desks and shelves? But that gives you more flexibility.
Anything's
You can move them off the
possible.
wall.
Anything's possible.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but you want a desk that a bundle on a shelf for a part-time person, you said.
Well, we have a space that we can put.
In this day and age, we really have that much paper that needs to be stored?
I know, that's what it.
No, I'm asking.
We shouldn't, but there are some paperwork we have to hold on to, the hard copy.
Well, some paperwork, but you're talking about an amount of shelving there
Yes.
that was related to the days when scanners
Weren't non-existent.
even in existence.
Yes. I mean, we're currently going through even accounting of checkbooks and receipt books from when Stockholm was in in office, and we got permission to shred those. We just document, like by a picture, that we shredded check number such and such.
Well, you've got two walls of that, you know, there behind Charity, over there behind,
Terry.
over there behind Terry. Do you really think we need that much? I mean, that seems
Even
like
if
a
have to have
tremendous amount.
Would help us. I mean, it didn't have to be that expensive.
Well, I think we're interested in helping, but I think we want to help to a level that's makes sense. And to build.
Well, I chose theirs because that's what they.
Yeah, no, that looks good, and I don't really have a problem with that, but I'd like y'all to get a better idea of exactly what you need. To duplicate what's in there would seem to me to be unnecessary in the age of scanners. But that's for you all to decide. But as far as the concept of giving you all some extra shelving and file storage space, I'm supportive of that. But let's build what we need and not what we don't need, because that's going to be expensive.
Right. And each of those drawers that you see, like behind JP2, we have evictions, and we have small claims, we have debt claims, and, you know, we have to hold on to those for so many years. So it just helps us where we work 1 year and then we move it down and start with the new. That just helps.
How many years do you have to hold it?
We have some back. Well, as long as Judgment Nut, and then some was Stockholm. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I believe you've got some, but do you have to have? We've probably got some stuff in Carl's storage that's 30 years old.
Cobwebs in.
Just trying to make it where it's more efficient for us to work. And when we need something, we know we can go straight to it and not have to dig through boxes.
Do these records have to be stored there? Can they be stored in another part of the courthouse? Or?
And I'd have to find that. I've only been here a year and a half. I'm sure there is somewhere, but like I said, some of those we are shredding. We're going through some old magistrates and making sure everything is scanned in, whether we need that or not, we're doing it anyway, and then shredding.
My question is, we don't have to build it there or put it in file cabinets in another part of the annex or somewhere else. There's no problem. Is that a problem? You have to keep it in that office? The records you're keeping?
Well, if we have to go back to something like next year or 2 years prior, we'd have to come to another building to look for it.
Well, I think he's saying if you have stuff that you have to save that's 10 years old or whatever, that the likelihood of you having to access that is slim.
Right. And that's where I need to educate myself on what documents we have to hold for 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. If it's something like that, we can store elsewhere.
How about this? How about you all utilize your contacts over there across the hall, talk to Charity and Terry, and I'm sure Judge McNutt would give you her opinion. She'd be happy to do that, and get a feel for how much of this stuff you really have to save, how many years back, and then once we have a better idea, I think these guys would support giving you the tools to do that. You don't have a very efficient setup right there, but let's don't duplicate what JP2's got and have a bunch of empty drawers or a bunch of drawers full of unnecessary documents.
Right. Like I said, even if we just needed half of it, but like I said, it doesn't have to be that elaborate.
Yeah.
But something that.
No, you've got an issue over there, but let us help you meet that issue efficiently. Okay. So how about that as a game plan? Get with Steve and share what we've talked. I'll be glad to talk to Steve, and let's figure out what we really need and go from there. And in the meantime, you all figure out what you do really need, how much storage space, and we'll figure out a way.
There may be a way in today's time where a lot of those offices in other counties may be paperless. That may be something Steve wants to look at going to.
We're supposed to become, more paperless. And I mean,
Yeah. I think having a clear understanding of exactly what you have to have as far as paper, and you may have some requirements that I don't have in in my office, and we want to be sure we abide by the law, but at the same time, this is a new opportunity for us to convert to as little paper as possible.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the heat today. Get out of here and don't come back again. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need his pictures back?
Oh yeah. Hey Pam, here take those back with you, and I'll get with you and Steve when he gets back, and we'll talk some more. But let's keep this subject fresh on our minds and keep moving. Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll be glad to be involved in that conversation with you and asking Terry, hey, how long do we have to keep stuff? How much storage space do you think we need? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, open. Okay, how about we table that, since it is an action item, and table it until Steve comes back and gives us some additional information.
Make a motion, we table it.
Motion's made to table item number 4 by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Applewhite. All right, item number 5, open. We vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Y'all are picky. Item 5, open review and possibly approve bids on a used 91 to 2013 dump truck. We have anything else?
All I got.
Philip, are you expecting anything else?
No, sir.
Okay.
Which one is
I had found out that they were probably going to table it, so I didn't reach out to anybody else.
Which precinct was that truck? Two?
Okay, and this is from R-Tex Truck Center in Texarkana, and you've dealt with them, I assume?
That's where we bought our water truck from.
Okay, so you're comfortable working with these
Oh,
guys?
100%,
What's that?
I thought we tabled that.
Okay, this is a 2013 International 4300 SBA 4x2 dump truck with a 6/7 yard bed, I suppose. Specifications included a 2013 International 4300, 33,000 gross vehicle weight, Allison 5-speed, International DT 466, 300 horsepower. I guess that's a diesel motor. Air brakes. He's given us a specific VIN number, a lead well body, then the more specific stats like 102-inch width, 24-inch side height, removable sideboard, scissor hydraulic hoist, in-cab controls, single chute in tailgate / permanently closed, spring-loaded tarp cover, 50-degree dump angle. Price tag $47,500. Do they even give the mileage anymore? No. So is this a specific truck you've seen, or do you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Okay.
went down, as a matter of fact, Al and I and Justin went down and test drove it. It's a nice
Okay.
truck.
So you know this truck,
I do, yes.
and you knew what the price that they were going to quote you on it was?
I did not know.
Okay. Does that sound right?
Very reasonable, yeah.
In our notes that we had, like when we were doing all that equipment at the last meeting, we had that we were expecting that truck to be around 40,000, less than 50. So
Okay.
Yeah,
that's that dump truck for precinct.
Do you want to look at this?
Well, very sure it's the same one. I did reach out to him to make sure that truck was still available. As y'all know, those used trucks go pretty fast, and we did go test drive it, and I reached out to him to make sure it was still there. And then shortly after that, I was going to talk to Freightliner and see if they would send in a used bid and stuff like that, and then I found out that we was just going to probably table it anyway, so I didn't reach out to anybody else from that, so just because of the information that I had found out, because we're thinking about maybe trying to buy, or John was thinking about trying to buy a new one. This is the reason why, so.
So John's the one that wants the table?
That's the information that he told me, and I thought he had told somebody else on the court also.
Oh, I don't know anything about this, so you're telling me we're not ready to take action on this today?
From what he told me, yes, and he had reached out to the other commissioners.
He told me he'd wanted a table that,
Yeah, that's what he
Is this
told
the
me.
same kind of vehicle you're needing also?
same type, but I'm not sure that, which one, yes, to answer your question, yes, but I'm not sure that, I'd like to price the new Ford. I'd rather have, or another price. Did that include the bed, Leadwell bed?
Yes.
dump?
It does, yes. Everything's included, including the tarp, which I'm just kind of leery about the tarp because, none of our other trucks have tarps on them. So I didn't know how long it's going to last. But on the flip side of that, it's actually a DOT requirement that we do tarp everything. So, and we broke a window the other day, or that last window that we paid for is because we didn't have a tarp. So maybe it's something that the court would really, or commissioners really need to see if we can start tarping some of our stuff from, here on out.
The
I don't know.
only thing we've got with the tarp now is the big dump bed, the 18-wheeler.
The two big trucks,
Yeah,
yes.
two big trucks.
That's correct, yeah.
I did
Used
price.
to, it wasn't a requirement,
Yeah.
that we tarp anything. So that's the reason why all of our trucks, they don't have tarps on them now. But in the future, I feel like they're going to probably start making us tarp them. You don't think they will?
No.
And they may not. I mean, we get away with a lot of stuff, I will say. Yeah.
Okay, you've been warned, okay? Don't follow us.
But I did. I did get a price on a 750. Just the cab and the cat chassis, about 60,000. What they with cotton. I was just asking.
Brand new?
Brand
Had a
new.
chassis.
Yeah.
We had a bid from Warren. Did I send you that bid? Or-
I didn't get a bid. They had a price. Bid.
Yeah, the bid from Warren was 15.5, I think.
So you're looking at 75 for a new one.
Be 65, somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 to 70 probably for a new.
He says it's
About 60,000 for a
60.
Truck 60 plus
Did you
another
say five?
15.
75, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 15 then.
Yeah, 15.5.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's 150,000 mile engine.
Correct, yes. Yeah, but those, as y'all know, those trucks probably run 500,000 miles easy. So, and they get used to the abuse of them, type of thing.
So what do we want to do here?
I think we ought to table
table.
it,
So, it's
John.
going to be the table.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were going to
He asked
table
that we
it. So that's the
table it.
reason why I
I
didn't
think
reach
we
out.
need to
Because he
table it.
wants to discuss buying a new one?
Right. As opposed to this.
What do you think about this versus a new one?
I'd like to price a new
Okay.
one, and see what we get.
So we may end up losing out on this one,
Well,
but
yeah. Story of my life.
There'll be some more out there.
They have others,
okay. All right, let me get a motion to
I've got
table.
used to it, so it's all good.
I make a motion we table it.
Motion's made by Commissioner Applewhite to table this single bid and, in fact, the entire agenda item number 5.
Second.
A second is by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Okay, well, thank you, Philip. Item number 6, do we have any other road equipment purchases that we need to consider and possibly approve today?
Well, I went over the list with Al, so I know he's got some questions, and then later on, I've got a budget amendment, for this shared equipment. It doesn't mean you buy it, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the money in the budget, unless y'all tell me not to, approve it, disapprove the budget amendment.
Well, I don't think we have any other bids today, it doesn't
No,
look
but I
like.
will go ahead and-
But if there's any non-bid, well, you weren't here, so you have some comments, go ahead.
Yeah, this is, Philip asked this guy from Holt Caterpillar.
Okay.
And I don't have a copy of that. I forgot that I had a good copy machine. He has three, well, wait a minute, let me start over. We are all agreed that we want to seal coat. All of us want to seal coat the roads as opposed to putting the coal mix on it, because it's cheaper and it lasts a lot longer, 15 years. And if we are, the one thing we need is a reclaimer. The old Bomag machine, we bought it in 2002 at Ritchie Brothers auction. It chops up material when you reclaim a road, or the mixer does. It's big chunks and it's old, and it stayed broke down about 3 years ago for about 6 months. And if that thing were to break down during our season from April to September, we'd be in trouble. And they do rent them. And Holt has rentals, and he had asked for bids, and the guy sent the bids to me through by board, and a new one and 2 used ones. They were rentals, and they're guaranteed for the. And he sent me the prices and specs on them, and that Philip had asked him for this, and we had. So I've got them here. He emailed them to us, but I didn't make a copy. But they're all identical machines. One of them's a new one. You get $50,000 off a new one, and it's still, I think, $461,000 after you get $50,000 off. The used ones, one of them has got 4 hours, and it's almost the price of that. The other one has 1,000 hours, and it's the price of it is. It's got 1,042 hours, and it's $396,000. They're all 2016, and they're all spec the same. They're the exact same thing. And these things grind up material. I mean, it's all the difference in the world. Goes down the road about 5 miles an hour, where the Bomag creeps along, and it's just, I think, and these are warranted drivetrain, powertrains, and hydraulics for 1,000 hours or 1 year, 12 months. The usual.
Even the one that's got 1,000 hours,
yes,
you'll add another 1,000 to it.
Right, but it'd take us a long time to get 4,000 or 5,000 hours on it. It'd take us forever. I mean, no, not forever. Quite a while. And if you could see one of them, the difference is all the difference in the world. The speed that it does it, and the material is ground up small, and we use everything in the world. We to try to make it smaller with that old Bomag, and it's just an antique.
Is a Bomag the same thing
Same
as this,
thing.
but 20 years older?
Right.
Yes.
This is it, yeah. Very same thing. They take a road and tear it up and rehab it, and then we could.
And what we were doing, whenever we would do that, we would actually have to take that Bomag and grind it up ahead of time. And then if we had some surface that we had to add material to, we had to drive the Bomag back over, grind it or mix it back in, and then continue on. So this would allow us to move on a little bit faster, where we can continue to grind it up also. And then if we had to mix material in to sturdy up the soil that's there, we wouldn't have to drive it back to do it. We'd have the Bomag there to drive it up also. So I don't think the Bomag needs to be retired at this point. Right. I think we can still use it because it's still a pretty good piece of equipment.
You use it, what you're saying, Philip, is use it for the mixing machine rather than the light work.
And if we can, I mean, if we don't have to drive it back to mix any material with it, you could run both of them down there and you're way far ahead, type thing. But it's going to take planning on everybody's part to make all this happen.
Well, Upshur County did this, bought one of these, and then I noticed on Action Express about 6 months ago, a year, they had their Bomag. They had an old one like for sale. They got rid of it. So that was.
It is possible.
I mean,
it's still a possibility.
So you brought this, and we can make copies. Obviously, we're not going to buy a $500,000 piece of equipment today. How do you want to proceed? Are you all in agreement that this is a piece of equipment we need to do? So how do you want to go about making a decision like this?
I think it's an absolute necessary expense that we're going to have to make if we're going to fix the roads seal coat. And seal coat, everybody knows, lasts longer, and it costs less than the old way we've been patching them with that cold mix. It's less to build the roads or rebuild the roads, rehab the roads. And that other way just wasn't as good. It moved all the time.
Do you want to go out for bid? We don't have a choice. We go out for bids on something like this, I would assume.
Well, if we have to, and this is the bid, and we could check somebody, whatever you want. I don't know how you do it, huh?
Is that off the bid board price?
Off the buy board.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay,
off the
so that is-
buy. All three of those?
All three of them.
Okay, used, so my board includes some used equipment as well.
Right.
Okay.
These are,
Okay. What does Commissioner Fitch think about this? Commissioner Fitch, you talked to him about this?
no, I haven't. And I really should have made copies, but maybe Carolyn will make them. I forgot that I have a fast copy machine.
So what were you hoping to accomplish today? Discuss it or approve this?
Well, I would like to approve it. I think it's an absolute necessary item, and I don't see any reason for any more discussion than the other.
Are you guys familiar with these pieces of equipment? Do you want to know any more before you make a decision?
I don't know of anything else that
Okay. Sounds like you got three willing voters if you want to do this.
Well, I'd recommend that I make the motion.
Which one?
I'd buy the 1,034 hours.
The used one, 395?
Right. He said, and since they're guaranteed 1,000 hours, and we'll have a hard time running 1,000 hours in a year, in my opinion. But 12 months, all the powertrain and hydraulic switches, most of it, you have to buy teeth. A set of teeth for these machines is $1,000, but we have to buy teeth for the BOMAG too, so it's a matter of, they wear out.
What's the price difference in between the new one and that used one?
461, well, let me get it.
That's 60,000.
396 for the 1,042 hours and 361,000 for the brand new one. And that's with a $50,000, government would get a $50,000 discount. And I said, is that off of 461? He said, no, that's already been taken off.
All right. Well,
What was the difference in that?
$7,000.
I'm sorry.
What was the difference in the price on the new one and the?
461 for the new one, 396 for the 1,042 hours, and then he's got a third one with 394 hours, and it's 437,000.
you want to look at this?
Yeah, here's a like I said, I should have made a copy. They're all identical.
Okay, so your motion would be to purchase this 2016 Holt, what do you call this piece of equipment? Reclaimer. The used one with 1,042 hours and $396,000.
Yes, what we had talked about was taking this money out of the general county fund balance and basically treating it like a loan and having the seal coating fund over time pay back $50,000 a year or something like that. Back in the general fund, of course, it's your own to yourself, it doesn't really matter. At some point, we're moving 250 to do seal coating out of the general fund anyway. At some point, we're going to have to start using property tax money or something else.
So just self-finance this, expense it out at $50,000 or whatever you decide per year to come out of the seal coat budget.
That's right.
But of course, I know, I talked to Carl. I'm more confused when I left Carl than I was when I started, but anyway. We had $1 million that we put in 17, 18.
Right. We had
And then we put
$1,250,000, we actually.
250 in the next year, and then we got 250 this coming year.
That's right.
We haven't spent that much money on seal coat.
Yes, we have. We spent all of it, except for about $70,000. Now, we haven't spent this year's.
Well, wait a minute. I guess I'm confused about what we call seal coat and what we call the other material. We had like $2 million to buy pea gravel and material.
Right. Now, that's in a different fund, and there's a lot of that money left. But the seal coating money, the $1,250,000, it was almost all spent. It was about $70,000 left at the end of the year. It's all that's left in that.
How could we? What did we spend it on?
$1,250,000, and there's $70,000 left in that. We haven't
That's what I
touched
said.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
No, you said $1.5 million.
$1,250,000.
Yes, $1,250,000. It should be about $70,000
That's right.
left in that.
The other money
The
that I
Fund
was getting
20.
confused with is Fund 20.
That's
There is
right.
a lot of money left.
There's
in it.
$1,400,000 left in it.
Right, that's right. That's the money for the pea gravel and all that different.
Right.
What? That's what each precinct.
That's
had.
each precinct divided up. That's
right.
correct.
It's
That's
what?
$1,400,000.
Say, there's $1 million for what?
That's
We
correct.
used or we got
Left.
Left.
It's left in there?
That's correct. That has nothing to do with this next year's budget coming in.
Yeah.
So you'll still get $525,000
Right.
this next year on top
Why can't
of.
we use that money to balance?
Well, you could if
It's
you're
still
not going to need it for your normal routine stuff, then yes, we can pull it out of there.
Yeah.
You out of that $1,400,000, you have to pay your salaries, to all your road hands.
Right.
Correct.
And yourself, but you also, if you don't, if by seal coating is going to cut down the amount of money that you need for your other routine expenses that you always have, well then, yeah, we can pull.
Not by that much.
No, we did.
That's,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
We spent about $100,000 on coal mix. And that's the coal mix that people, that it's like an overlay, it never hardens, and it lasts. Some of my roads that did it before, well, after I got that before,
some of that.
4 years they're
Because you're not
gone.
going to be able to seal coat that many miles of road in years.
Yeah, I mean, if you're only talking about $200,000 for, and we did 20.
We spend about $400,000 a year on seal coat.
That includes, that don't include the equipment we bought, or
No, that's just seal coat.
just a material? 400,000 for the whole county, or?
Yes. $400,000 a year, each of the years. We spent $1.2 million that we put in seal coating. We spent about $800,000 on the seal coat itself, and we spent about $400,000 on equipment.
But that included the expensive stuff that we put on Jimmy's Road also.
Yeah, that was what we was waiting to try to get lined up for seal coat.
Correct.
That's that coal mix, that's how much.
That's correct, yeah. And I would recommend maybe seal coating that within the next couple, 2 or 3 years, otherwise it's going to deteriorate also.
Okay. I would suggest you follow what Carl is suggesting and expense that out in the form of loan repayments to the county over about 8 years at $50,000 a pop, rather than using up your materials.
If we end up with, over time, we don't have to use as much material.
Pay it down quicker, but
Use that.
let's get it programmed out. There's nothing wrong with paying for this
But
over 8
eventually,
years.
you're going to have to, the seal coating money's going to have to come from somewhere besides the fund balance, because you can't keep pulling it. Right.
Say that again?
At some point, we're going to have to find another source to pay for the seal coating besides pulling it down of the general county's fund balance, because there's a limited amount of money in there. We've already pulled $1.5 million out.
Like what we get every year or have in the past, the $525,000?
No, that's a different deal. That's property taxes are paying for
Paying
that.
for that, yeah.
Property taxes and all the registration fees are
Okay.
paying for that. But they're not paying for the seal coat. The seal coat's been being paid for by the general county.
We don't do much of that other patching. We can do all seal coating, hopefully.
Well, I don't know how much of
Right,
it
we can have these discussions later. As far as paying for this, we've got a motion on the floor to purchase this used $396,000 machine. Do you want you want to have a payment or a method of payment as part of this motion?
No, we can do that during the budget time.
Okay.
Because we don't really have a source of repayment here anyway, so we don't have a choice.
All right, whenever you guys are ready to second this, take the time that you need.
Has anybody gone, did you go see it? This piece of equipment?
Do I know?
Did anybody go look at it?
No.
Okay.
It's on the Bible, it's probably in Austin or somewhere.
Do we have to?
Last time I talked to him, he
Do we have to transport it?
That's just on that side. He had.
I didn't ask that question, but it's Sulphur Springs, I think it's Sulphur Springs, that's where he is.
That's
So, because that,
Do y'all still have your little worksheet where it's filled up all the
Yes, I do.
Jimmy, Danny, do y'all still have this sheet of paper where we worked up those numbers and put estimates of what those?
yeah, I hadn't got mine with me, I don't think, but I've got,
Overall, these were the pieces we were talking about buying all together. And here was my original estimates, and that's why I came up with 650, but now the reclaimer's already costing more than what we thought there. So you need to keep that in mind, because if you still want all these pieces, this number's going up.
well, this one here is probably going to be nothing.
Okay.
We may get one donated.
Okay, yeah, the bucket machine, the
Yes.
bucket truck. But some of these others may cost more, but anyway, that's gonna be about, if you buy the used one, the house home, it's gonna be about 40,000 more than this.
Okay, this one here then too, that's where they talk about not even getting.
Right.
So you might be still around 650 then if you take that. Those added up to 660, using those prices there.
That's a 20 and a 20.
I'm assuming this is a 70 here, I don't think that was 10, I think that was 70.
That's 70.
So I added up to 660. This was obviously more than what we thought.
Has this list been approved? Are we,
This is just
one at a
This
time.
is just for working
Yeah.
purposes for me to try to budget.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw, you say what is it?
I don't know about the rest of them. The guys working on the road, they say that the number 2 item to keep, to seal coat with is the big roller like you got, the big steel, whatever it's called. Another big roller.
Yeah.
To mash, grind it up with. Is the number 2 item, but I don't know.
Steel wheel
We need
roller.
to think about that and get these items. Now, my opinion is to buy them in the priorities. In other words, some of these items on here don't need to be priorities. We need.
Well, that's what I was telling Carl, the bucket truck. I have talked to Swepco and Bowie Cass both.
Right.
They are pulling some of their bucket trucks off this year, and there's a possibility we can get one of them for a little to nothing.
Right.
We're on the list with them. I told them to go ahead and put us on the list for one, and so we're just going to have to wait and see how and when that works out. I told them, I said, we're really not in that big a hurry for it, but we would like to get one as soon as possible because ours is so.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on there that shouldn't be a priority. We only should spend what we have to spend.
But understand, just because the money's in the budget, it's not going to be spent until y'all approve it to be spent anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, got a motion. Anybody want to second that purchase, or you
Well-
want to wait?
Me and Dana have been throwing back and forth the idea here about the new versus that 1,000 hour.
Yeah.
This new one with the extended warranty on it, which is included in this price, is not but what did we say? $72,000 more. And you've got 48-month warranty on it.
Okay,
Five-year-
4-year warranty on it?
Be a
Yeah.
5-year warranty.
A 5-year warranty.
12 month plus an extra 48 months.
What is the warranty on the used one?
There's just 12 months.
12 months.
The new one, you get a 5-year warranty on it.
Yeah, it's 1 year, but it's only on the
let's,
The powertrain number.
Powertrain and hydraulics, which there ain't much left.
and
And that's what this is too,
Yeah.
the 5 year
Right.
on the new one.
Yeah.
To me, it'd make more sense to have a 5-year warranty on it for that, you know, that being that close to the same price rather than,
How many thousand?
73,000 difference.
That's a lot
I
of,
think we ought to save the 73,000.
that's not very close. But anyway, go ahead.
I think we ought to save the 73,000. I mean, we're not a construction company where we're using that thing 12 months out of the year. Typically, we could use it more than the 3 or 4 months out of the year, but I think we ought to save the 70,000.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion. I mean,
it'd be difficult for us to get 1,000 hours on it in 1 year. For us, we're not, like I said, a construction company.
Well, at the end of 12 months, the warranty's over with, right? Regardless
Yeah.
of how long you use it.
yeah, with that one it is. No matter if you put 10 hours or if you put, 999 hours, at the end of that year, the warranty's gone. So,
But it's 1,000 hours or 1 year.
Yeah.
There's a warranty on it.
Whichever's less.
whichever comes first.
All right.
I know $70,000 doesn't seem very much, but
It's a lot of money, but when you're talking about that much,
I mean, it's, from the other reclaimer, we didn't have any trouble like it either. You don't have that. So,
That Bomag was put in service in 2002, and you bought it from Ritchie Brothers Auction, and
and it was used at that point, probably had 2,000 hours on it, 2,000 hours on it at that point. So, and we used it quite a bit that, first several years.
first several years
Yes,
there.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a bit. I spent many hours on it.
If you want to do something else, make another motion. If you need more time.
I'll second the motion.
This is a big dollar decision here. If you need more time, fine. If you're ready to make a decision, make a decision.
I'll second it. I think that we can use that one and go with it.
Motion and a motion, Commissioner Riddle, second Commissioner Parker, to purchase the used 1,042-hour unit at $396,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is that unanimous? Okay. All right. Any other purchases there under item number 6?
no, we need to all get together and decide what their number 2 item should be, because
Do y'all need another workshop opportunity at the end of the next meeting? At the end of the next meeting, not before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to have my roads that I would like to seal coat this year by that time.
Okay.
And
Well, we've already got that on the agenda. We can include these other prioritization of equipment purchases at that time, but I do have time scheduled at the end of the next meeting for y'all to set your construction priorities.
Of course, I got I know the rubber tire loader is not a priority, but Romco is going to send it down here Wednesday, I think, to try it out, and see what we think about it, and it won't at no cost to the county, and keep it for a week or two. He said just.
Where do they need to be to see it?
Sir?
Where do they need to come to see this on
We're going to
Wednesday?
we're going to put it at the out there.
Reclaim file,
Reclaim
out
file,
on
271. He's going to bring it out there. We'll see how it's
Okay.
we'll put it where?
271.
And leave it there for a
No,
little while?
no, we're going to bring it back and
Oh,
forth.
yeah.
He's going to drop it off at the reclaim.
And leave it with us for a while?
Yes, sir. Going to leave it here for about a week or two.
Oh, okay.
Or just, he said, ever how long they think we need to do it.
Okay.
And, our truck can haul it back in, but he's going to drop it off out there to reclaim, just for us to try it
We're
out.
going to leave it out there overnight?
No, we're going to bring it back in
Week.
it'll come back in.
on the big truck.
My notes on that one, Dana said that precinct 2, 3, and 4 were going to split the cost of that loader. Is that right?
Of what? The loader?
The rubber tire
Loader.
front
Yeah.
end loader. I've got a note that says it was going to be split.
Okay, we're going to discuss that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move on to item number 7, consider and possibly approve the decision of the County Elections Commission to terminate employee of the Elections Administrator. You'll recall Leonard Rockwell agreed to fill in for us temporarily until we've made a new hire, and he pointed out to me that to be in compliance with the election law, we really need to have a Commissioner's Court approval of the decision of the Elections Commission. As a side note, we will begin our interviews tomorrow and probably interview 3 days this week. We've got at least 9 candidates to interview, and we've got some good prospects there. But first, and to satisfy this agenda item, I need your approval of the Elections Commission decision to terminate the previous Elections Administrator before we make a hire.
Need it in form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Riddle.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Item number 8 is approve our oral and written reports.
I've got y'all.
Thank you, Lynette. Wow. Impressive. We'll follow your lead.
What do you think about this, Carl?
I still use my old sheets. Anyway, it tells you the same information. The only thing probably a little different is we put the transfers in different lines so you can see. And there's the 250 for this year that we moved over to the seal coating. Fund 19 came out of John County. The other transfers have already done. I don't have an extra one here. Which one? Oh, yeah. One other thing to bring to y'all's attention, we mentioned earlier, there was about $1.4 million in that Fund 20. We used that Fund 20 for October and November. We didn't actually switch over to December on y'all, so there's some expenses for payroll and whatever else they had that came out of there. And then we've already moved $250 to each one, is that right? I've already moved $200,000 cash to each one. And you look on there and you see there's still $962,000 left in Fund 20. And I'll move the rest of that money to the 4 precincts over the next 30 days. There's a CD in there that I got to wait till the CD matures before I move it.
Matures this month.
Yeah, 20.
What about this FEMA deal? Like I said, that precinct, Williams and the Harts Creek, did you ever figure out how that's, like I said, if I would use it, or what precincts could use it?
The bridge, that off-road bridge system.
Yeah, let me tell you what we found out about that. They specifically have listed the roads that we have to use, but they said that we can use other roads. It's not that I can use any road in the county to offset that. I have to use a road that the drainage runs into those roads. And I've got those list of roads. I went because I've got the list of roads off of the.
Not the roads. I just got a copy of the form that we've got to fill out. Okay.
So it's not just those roads, but it has to be a road that the drainage
Feeds into that
feeds
road?
into that road. So we're not going to be able to use just any road. I don't even know. Like on the roads you gave me, Dana, we're going to have to make sure they tie into one of those other
1820.
roads.
1820. All the water comes from that way over here anyway.
Well, as long as we can show where it comes from, then I'll know, because when they come in to do their audit, I got to be able to show them. We use this road because it fed from this road. It's got to come off of those roads that are on their list. I think there's 6 or 7 of them for each of the two
projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I talked to him Friday, we've signed a contract with them, and those roads were actually specific for that. Now, before we signed that contract, we asked him, I don't know if he just misunderstood us or whatever, because I did reach out to Roger after I talked to him, and I said, hey, are you sure he said that? And he said it, but regardless, I called him, and he said, absolutely, if it's on that contract, that's what it has to be. And I said, can we audit it? Can we change it? He said, absolutely not. So any of those roads that are listed on that contract.
Or a road that the drainage runs into them.
Yep.
Don't know if it'll be abused. They have to be connected.
Yep.
So I'm in precinct 3.
But what we did is, in all honesty, we went through these roads that we had listed that we was going to rehab and all that, and that's the roads we put it on, because we was going to spend the money on it anyway. So it wouldn't be
And there's a budget amount for each one of those roads.
correct.
So we've got to tie it to those roads somehow.
30 miles. So it just ain't happening, is it?
I don't know. We'll just have to see what, like I said, I don't know how the drainage works on some of those roads. But I'll show you the understand them all.
Well, it had to be done. The road had to be done anyway. Like I said, I was just, make it. But anyway,
Okay, I need a motion on item number 8.
make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Applewhite. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 9, our treasurer's report, please, Cheryl. No, save it.
Why did you not?
Thank you.
That's how much I got to show. But now, a whole bunch of these, maybe one tiny deal.
That's right. Okay. Just
Look like here, but we account for it separately.
okay. Where's the one account? Oh,
Let's see how much you got remaining. That's how much money is remaining, $12 million.
okay.
Which is probably a whole bunch of those. That vehicle inventory is 326, but I didn't do it here. There's the 326.
I make a motion.
Motion's made for approval by Commissioner Applewhite.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll need your signature on that for Cheryl. Carl, do we have any budget amendments?
Yes, we do, we got several. Okay. First one is a final budget amendment for last year. When they didn't do their audit, they record depreciation expense in the maintenance barn fund and in the election administrators fund. I don't ever budget that because it's not a cash item. But if I don't do it, I just do it at the end of the year. So that's what this, it's a one-sided entry, but it's just depreciation. So that's what that is. Well, it got to be a bigger number for a long time. That election equipment was so old it wasn't being depreciated. But we bought all that new equipment last year, so that number got to be $44,000, I think. So if I don't budget it, it's going to make you look like your budget's out of, like you spent more money than you budgeted. We really didn't, because that's not a cash So in the past, I had. Right. Now, in the new year, this first one, and this is just the first run of it, this is where I'm taking the money left in 20 and budgeting it over to the four of y'all. I'm just taking that, whatever was left in that fund, and dividing it by four, and putting it in the same line item. When I give you all your reports, y'all can move that money around however you need to. But you'll have that much money, and you'll see that in here. Both the revenues and expenses, I just took what was left in 20 and divided by 4. So that's what these entries are, and I think I've done one for each one.
About a month ago, and that's discussed.
Yeah, yeah. And then I've got one emergency budget amendment, and that's for those pieces of equipment, because at the time we did our budget last year, we didn't know how the election was gonna come out. We didn't have any of this equipment budgeted to pay for anywhere, so I'm budgeting to transfer it out of general county to the seal coat fund, which is Fund 19, to be expended money in capital outlays. That's what this is.
Specifically, what pieces of equipment?
Well, I just moved 650. It may end up being a little more or less. It's those pieces that are on that sheet of paper, and I think they're attached back here too. It's these pieces down here, and we're just estimating what we know they're gonna cost.
You're doing it not for what we know right now,
Right.
but in
What
anticipation.
anticipation. And it may need to be changed a little bit more depending on what the bids come in.
650,000.
Right. Okay? Right.
That's in the new year. That other one was the previous.
That's right. That's the only one from the old year.
Completion of the
And these are from the new year. We got one of these for each one.
The top page is revenue only, which is the revenue that will bring the 20 into each precinct. Your net of that transaction will be zero.
Get all those fancy for you.
And each one of those sheets, you start with 20, and 20 is going to zero out, so you'll see that column's empty. Then flip into 21, it shows you line item for line item what's going to move. And there's some shaded areas where your accounts do line up exactly with 20. And so on those, we can determine, do you want me to set up that account for you?
Well, we're probably going to set those up and then let y'all move it around however you want to.
And you can come by my office and sit down and we can go through those and I can put your numbers where you want your numbers. But this is how they would actually mirror 20 to go into your precinct.
Basically, if you look on the front page, the revenue page, there's $991,000, that's what was left in there. And we just allocated it. If you look at the top line, the property taxes, it's $530,000. You see that line?
Yeah.
Then if you look down a little lower, you're going to see precinct 1, property taxes, $132,000. Precinct 2, $132,000. Precinct 3, $130,000. That's where I'm moving that $530 that was left in there to the 4 precincts. Same thing with every one of those other line items. We're just dividing it by 4 and moving it down there. Now that's the revenues, and then over on the expenses, it's the same thing, except for the road engineer's salary.
And we put that all in.
We put the money that was left over the road engineers into road materials, divided it by 4. But you'll see each one of those, whatever was up in 20, when you go down to the other precincts, it's divided by 4, and it's shown up in each precinct. And I believe there's 464,000 in each one. Yeah, 464 is going into each one of your precincts. Again, once you get yours to look at it, you can line item move it around. You may not need as much in road signs as 1/4 of that number was. So you might want to move that to road materials or vice versa.
this pay run. There are some of these numbers that they're very little. If you notice that bottom minimum call on the very last page is a little bit different than what we're moving, that's due to your encumbrances that are on the books for this pay run. So that's why I don't want you to say, I had 50 there and now I only had 49, because there was an encumbrance on there that had not yet booked for that account. Based on this receipt. Y'all may not know this.
It would be a lot.
It would be on us. You were not sure. You probably saw that, that was my
So this is budget amendment number 1 and number 2 for the new year. Was final, and final for the previous year.
And on the budget number, I wasn't sure if we were gonna do each individual, so that number I put on two, that we may do each one of their separate, so, you know, then it would be 5 instead of that, or 6.
You can do them all together, but it's just a lot evenly.
It's okay. I didn't know how the system would assign the number or not.
Each one of you got 464, 187, 35, in additional expenditure budget.
Added to what we've already got in there.
And took what you already got in there. Some of y'all see a different number. Housing had more money left over because of his insurance and stuff. Come out of his, like y'all. So those numbers, the final number looks a little different on each one. It'd be about $2,000 to $3,000. Yeah, and the income is in there too. But the actual amount we moved out of 20 was the same for each one. Both on the revenue and the expenses. Yeah, 1.85 versus.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Lewis to approve these 3 amendments.
2 years ago, put it all together.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor of approval of the budget amendments, say aye. Opposed? All right, item number 11, sign pay orders and approve payments of our bills.
Make a motion to pay our bills.
Motion to pay is made by Commissioner Applewhite. It's second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye. All right, any closing comments today? Commissioner Riddle?
No, thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Glad you're here. All right. I today don't have any that I haven't already mentioned. Again, we'll begin interviews of election administrators here tomorrow. Commissioner Applewhite.
Brought to my attention about those some bridges out there on Green Hill. As much as there's been graffiti wrote all on them, and it's some pretty exclusive material need to be, I guess, painted out. You know, I don't know how we could go about doing that. It's been last week. There's been a lot of graffiti. Week before last, there's graffiti just wrote on the Iron Bridge and those bridges over there on Green Hill. So I just didn't know how we could either do that or how we could go about doing that and getting it fixed and stuff.
I don't know either.
So
Some Red River County people for you.
anyway, that's about all. You know, it's brought the trash and stuff. I said we'll have to take that at a different time.
A couple of things. One of them I mentioned a while ago. I have talked with SWEPCO and Bowie Cass about their bucket trucks that they pull off land. Both of them told me that they would put us on the list and both of them said they were pulling some trucks off the line this year, so don't know if we'll be far enough up the line to get one or not, but I told them just to be sure that, they let us know if and when that took place. So we'll kind of hold off, I guess, on the bucket truck deal for now until we can find out about that. And also, I have got a meeting set up for this coming Friday with the regional guy from Buy Board to meet with Al and Dana and Jeff or whoever at 10 o'clock. And then at 11, me and John and probably James are going to meet with him. He's going to go over our, exactly how we need to do this Buy Board deal and all to be sure everything's right and all on it.
Okay, 2 separate meetings, one at 10, one at 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where are you going to meet?
Out at the maintenance shop. He has got a laptop, and we've got the computer out there, and we can sit down that way, and each one of us go through a simulated deal of how it goes and everything. It's not that complicated. I've done them before, and it's not that complicated to do, but it's something that you need to know exactly how to do it to get everything right and get what you're looking for.
I'm glad you're getting that done.
So,
all right, anything else? Need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's made to adjourn by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Commissioner Applewhite. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone.